Hi everyone, Bill here for the Super Review Show. And today, since it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I was talking about it during Mixed Bag, today we're going to be talking about One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Made in 1975, directed by the late great Milos Forman, based on the novel of the same name. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest tells the story of Randall Patrick McMurphy, a man who is in prison because he had a inappropriate relationship with an underage girl, starts acting crazy and is sent to a mental institution because he thinks he's going to get out of doing hard labor in prison. And he thinks he's going to spend the rest of his time there. While there, he befriends a lot of the patients and comes across the antagonist of the film, the tyrannical, cold-hearted, callous Nurse Ratched. And Randall Patrick McMurphy tries to shake things up a little bit and stands up to Nurse Ratched. Okay, let's talk about the cast. McMurphy is played by the great, one and only Jack Nicholson. He is great as this role. He just absolutely kills it. McMurphy's character is sort of like the grenade that is thrown into the system as he tries to shake things up and tries to show the other patients that there is life outside. And, he's nice by teaching them how to play cards, teaching them how to play basketball, taking them on a fishing trip, and even bringing them a little female company in the end. And he's just like that troublemaker in the institution. Like, I know we've seen it 100 times since then, but I think here it works. Story-wise, I think it works. Now, the villain, Nurse Ratched, played by Louise Fletcher. And I said this when I talked about it on the Mixed Bag when we were talking about mental health movies. Nurse Ratched is such an interesting villain because she doesn't scream, yell, and use a cackle and laugh. Like, through about 99% of the movie, she's very calm. She doesn't raise her voice until like the last 15-20 minutes. And she has a straight face. And as a villain, she has the power of control. Like, she puts so much control over the patients. Like, for instance, it's little things like they have music playing when it's time for their medication. They put power over, she puts power over them by bringing up painful things, which we get to in a second. Or even just like, there's this one scene that McMurphy asks Ratched if they can turn on the World Series game. And at first he goes, well, we got to bring it to a vote. And only a few people vote. He goes, well, can't do it. Sorry. And then when the second vote, when about 9 people get the vote, goes, well, you need one more. And then when he tries to get the last vote, and when that last person raises their hand, she's like, oh, sorry, meeting's over. Vote doesn't count. She is very controlling. And she does hold things over the other patients. Like this one patient named Billy, who's played by Brad Dourif, who you might remember as the voice of Chucky in the Child Play movies. He she brings up, like I said, she brings up painful memories, like when he was turned down by this girl that he proposed to, and he tried to kill himself. She brings that up, and also at near the end of the movie, after McMurphy brings them female company, and Billy, has relations with them, with one of them. She goes, "What is your mother gonna think?" And this shows like power dynamics. How he just at first he goes, "Do you regret it?" He goes, "Nope." And he goes, "Well, what's your mother gonna think?" He then turns into like a scared child. Goes, "Please don't tell my mom." And again, she holds that over his head, and it's like, "Billy, I have to tell your mom. Your mom and I are good friends. I have to tell her." So that's what makes her such an interesting villain. And that kind of shows the power dynamics in this film. McMurphy and Ratched, Nicholson and Fletcher, they work so well off each other. McMurphy represents chaos and trying to bring everything and trying to, shake things up and have fun, while Ratched represents order. She represents order and represents, nope, we're doing it this way. Sh and when McMurphy tries to do those things like the World Series scene I just mentioned, Ratched by what she does, Ratched goes, "No, Randall, I'm in control. I'm in charge." But yeah, I think that power dynamic works off great. And the rest of the cast does a great job as well. You have Will Sampson as Chief, who is this Native American who lives there, and he barely speaks throughout the movie until like probably the late second, beginning of the third act. How McMurphy reminds him of his father. You have William Redfield as Harding, Brad Dourif, who I just mentioned. You have Sidney Lasik as Cheswick, who's one of the patients, and also some other big names such as Christopher Lloyd and Danny DeVito. This was one of Danny DeVito's first major films. And what's interesting about Danny DeVito is that there is a scene where he is in one of the meetings and he just goes crazy. Basically, him standing up to Nurse Ratched about his cigarette, goes, "I want something done!" and screams about it. I actually read somewhere that it was so convincing, the crew actually had to double check on him to see if he was okay. And the film itself, it does show the very stereotypical mental institution. The guys in white, the music that I just talked about, how they do it, like every time it's their medication, and also some of the methods used, like I said, like with Nurse Ratched and Randall McMurphy, but also you see how much power is delegated over them. Like, there's a scene when Randall thinks he's going to get out in 2 months because that's the rest of his jail sentence. But one of the staffers goes, "No, we keep you here until we think you're fit to go out." And at one of the group therapy sessions, Nurse Ratched goes, Well, Mr. McMurphy, you're one of the only ones here who's committed. Everyone else is here voluntarily, as in they can go home whenever they want. Um, and he goes, "Are you kidding me? You keep saying how much it sucks in here, yet you guys stay." Well, because at that point, Ratchet and the institution just has so much control over them. If they were to go out into the real world, they'd be lost. They wouldn't know what to do. Okay, if I were to make one complaint about this film is I will say I do think it is a little dated when it comes to mental health because we've come a long way in that since then. But I do got to keep in mind this was a movie made in the 70s based off a book that was made in the 60s. And I think it plays it off well, but I just said, you need to keep in mind that it's a little bit of a product of its time. But overall, I think it is a really good film. I think it's good to show depictions of mental health from back then. Like I said, though a little dated, I think it's still a really good film. I think it should be shown in psychology classes about mental illnesses and institutions and all that. So I am giving One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest a very solid 9 out of 10. Well, guys, have you seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Let me know and shoot your comments down below. Tell me your thoughts. And also, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, and check out all the fun stuff that happens on the Super Review Show, such as Mixed Bag, Rock Talk, and movie commentaries that are coming soon. We kind of put those off because of COVID, but now that things are getting back to somewhat normalcy, we're going to be doing those again really soon. So, I'm Bill for the Super Review Show. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and take care.